All right, ladies, today is International Women's Day, and I want to talk about something really important, stepping back into your power as a perimenopause, postmenopause, as any kind of menopause woman. And this year's theme for International Women's Day is Accelerate Action, and I could take that in a million different directions, but I really want to bring it back to you. So I know that for most of the women I talk to, work with in perimenopause or postmenopause, action for you is something you take for everyone else, your family, your job, your responsibilities, your everybody. But what about action for yourself? What would it look like if you actually took action to feel your best, to feel in charge of your menopause, instead of feeling like it is running the show? And really, it's kind of funny that I get ideas to talk about things like this because for most of my life, this idea of like empowered and stepping into power, I felt nothing but. Or I shouldn't even say that. I don't even know exactly what I felt. Disempowered? I just felt like I was going through the motions, doing what I thought I was supposed to do, waiting for other people, the outside world, to tell me if I was doing things right. If I was measuring up. And it's only been since I got into coaching in the last 5 or 6 years that I have actually started to feel empowered. And let me tell you, it is still not every day. The old thoughts of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, they still show up. I just have to work to not let them run the show. And I have the skills to do that now, which I never did. And I know so many of you feel this way too. You want to take control of your health, your energy, your weight, your mindset. But there's still this little voice saying like, who do you think you are? Even before I hit live sometimes, that still pops up for me. So this is what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about what it's actually like to feel empowered in your body every single day. Not just as an idea, not just as a concept or a theory, but as something real. So here's the first thing I want you to think about. Menopause is not happening to you. It's happening with you. Now, I know that might sound nice in theory, but I want to break down what I actually mean here. When your symptoms hit, when fatigue, cravings, brain fog, hot flashes, weight gain, when those all hit, it's easy to feel like your body is fighting against you. But the truth is, it is not. Your body's not betraying you. It's not at battle with you. It is trying to communicate with you so it can work with you. That energy crash in the afternoon, that's feedback. That bloating after a meal, feedback. Restless sleep, feedback. Data, information. And when you stop seeing these things as roadblocks and you start seeing them as data, as information, as guideposts, that's when you start to take your power back. That is when you stop chasing quick fixes and magic diets and you actually start paying attention to what works for you. And when you get to that point, then you get to have this fun of experimentation, right? And this is where you start testing things. This is where what I do with most of my clients, not from frustration, but from curiosity. You try eating a certain way and you notice what your body tells you. You tweak your sleep and see if your energy shifts. You move your body differently and you pay attention to how you feel. And when something doesn't work, instead of saying, ugh, I failed, you say, that's interesting. My body is telling me something. What's my next step? That is what empowerment truly looks like. It's not about knowing everything ahead of time. It's about becoming someone who listens, who adjusts, and leads yourself forward. And when you step away from judgment and frustration, you start feeling something even bigger. You start feeling curiosity, compassion, and gratitude. Even if you're not exactly where you want to be yet, you can appreciate the fact that your body is giving you clues, that it's trying to work with you, that you are learning, that you have the power to make choices every day that help you feel better. And when you start to do this, when you start to prioritize yourself, I want you to think, or to get you to that point, let me say it that way, I want you to think about this. Do you actually believe you are worthy of the effort? Do you believe you are worthy of feeling good? Do you feel you are worthy of your dreams and your desires? Because if you don't, if deep down you still think taking care of yourself is selfish or that it is not possible for you, then no strategy is gonna stick. And I can tell you that 110% from actual knowing this for myself. Most of us have spent our lives putting ourselves last, and that is exactly why so many women feel so disconnected from their bodies by the time they hit menopause. But here's what happens when you start prioritizing yourself, not at the expense of others, but for others. You start showing up with more energy, more patience, and more presence in your life. You stop feeling stretched thin because you actually refuel yourself. You become an example, whether it's to your kids, to your partners, to your friends, to your grandkids, of what it looks like to take care of yourself without guilt. And when you start stacking these small choices, eating in a way that makes you feel good, moving your body because it energizes you, speaking to yourself with kindness instead of tearing yourself down, something amazingly powerful happens. You start to build momentum. And at first it's subtle. Maybe you wake up feeling a little bit more energized, a little more in control. Then maybe a few days later, you realize you're not stuck. You haven't felt frustrated. You haven't felt as exhausted. You're not in that same cycle. And the best part is you don't feel like you had to force it or punish yourself to get there. You've just been choosing yourself again and again until it's your new normal. That is empowerment. Not just knowing what to do, but believing you are worth doing it for. So here's my challenge for you today. You can put this in the comments, you could send me a message, you can write it in your journal, but I really encourage you to spend a little time with this. I want you to ask yourself this question. If you truly believed you were 100% worthy of feeling amazing, what would you do differently? Would you eat differently? Would you move differently? Would you set different boundaries? Would you stand up for yourself? Would you speak to yourself in a different way? Really get clear with yourself. The first step is awareness. So you have to start to look and see where you stand with it all. And if you are knowing you are ready to accelerate action for you, let's have a conversation. Let's chat. I would love to help you map out what it would look like for you so you can work with your body instead of against it, so you can step into your power, so you can feel good again. So happy International Women's Day to all the women out there, but especially my peri and postmenopause women. I hope that whether it's through listening to things like this, whether it's working with a one-on-one coach, whether it's me or somebody else, I hope you're working to reclaim your power every day.